You're serious about your success. You wouldn't be here right now if you weren't. You're working overtime, grinding, trying to get into that 1% that actually makes it. You've bought the planners, you've read the books, you've got the noise-canceling headphones. You're doing the work, but it's not working. You're still missing the target. What if I told you the problem isn't the work? The problem is the focus habits you've been taught to rely on. The ones you think are your biggest allies are actually the invisible chains keeping you stuck in the 99%. I'm talking about things like the mega-long morning routine, the constant motivational podcast, and the one I know is going to hit you hardest, never taking a real break. Over the next 25 minutes, we're not just calling out these 5 toxic focus habits. I'm going to give you the exact 1% focus protocol to replace them. This isn't theory. This is what separates the people who want the $10,000 from the people who deposit it. We're going to dive into the science of intentional distraction, the truth about why your hyperproductivity is an emotional death trap, and the single 5-minute task that will change your financial focus forever. Look, I get it. I've been there. My first year trying to build the 1% brand, I was a total mess. I was drinking coffee until 4 p.m., felt guilty taking a weekend off, and was addicted to checking my analytics every 5 minutes. I thought I was a machine. I was confusing effort with excellence. And that mistake cost me months, maybe a year of real exponential growth. And if you're being honest with yourself, you're making the same one right now. It's time to stop the hustle and start the focus. Let's jump into the first toxic habit that needs to be permanently deleted from your routine. It's the one you're probably doing right now, and it's the fastest way to kill your entire day before it even begins. Toxic habit number 1, the mega-long morning routine. Look, I'm not saying routines are bad, but the version being peddled by the gurus is a toxic vanity project. They've got you up at 4 a.m., journaling for an hour, meditating for 45 minutes, reading 50 pages, then drinking some $50 green sludge. You're spending 2 hours of peak energy preparing to work. That's a false start. You've confused a ritual with real, focused output. Here's the kicker. The long routine is often just an elaborate form of procrastination. You feel productive because you did 3 hours of self-care, so your brain tricks you into feeling like you've already won the day. But you haven't even touched the 10K task. Your willpower is a finite resource. You're burning it all up on choosing which gratitude affirmation to use and what flavor of smoothie to blend. By the time you sit down to tackle that deep work, you're mentally fried. You've got nothing left for the tough decisions. The 1% focus protocol is different. We eliminate the noise. You need a trigger routine, not a long routine. Your first 20 minutes should be about priming your brain for immediate deep work, not spiritual contemplation. It's a 3-step blitz. 1. 30 seconds of cold water splash on your face to activate your nervous system. 2. 2 minutes of high-intensity movement. 20 push-ups, 20 squats, whatever gets your heart rate up. 3, and this is the most crucial part, define the one thing you must accomplish before lunch. Write it on a sticky note. That's it. This takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go from 0 to focused. You save an hour and 59 minutes of peak brain power for the work that actually generates revenue. That's the 1% difference, buddy. Now, stick around, because the next toxic habit is about to destroy your entire afternoon. It involves your phone, and it's called the motivation loop. Toxic habit number 2, the motivation loop. If you're like the 99%, you hit a wall around 2 p.m. The energy from your 5-minute blitz is gone. What do? You grab your phone. You open YouTube. You watch a 10-minute highlight reel of Elon Musk talking about Mars, or you listen to some motivational speaker yell at you about never giving up. You feel better, right? You get that quick dopamine hit, That jolt of, I can do this, but you just traded 10 minutes of deep work for 10 minutes of emotional snacking. Here's the harsh truth. Motivation is a feeling. Focus is a skill. You are substituting the difficult, high-value work, the work that creates real satisfaction, with cheap, fleeting inspiration. You're training your brain to need an external hit just to get through a boring moment. The problem is, your brain doesn't differentiate between watching someone else achieve greatness and doing it yourself. You are consuming, not creating. It's like watching an athlete run a marathon, feeling inspired, and then telling yourself you just did a workout. You didn't. And here's the biggest betrayal of the motivation loop. It's an emotional escape. You don't want to deal with the actual difficulty of the 10K task, so you take a quick trip to dreamland where everything is already awesome. You are rewarding yourself for procrastination. The 1% focus protocol flips this entirely. You need a reset ritual, not an inspiration binge. When the 2 p.m. slump hits, you have two options. Option A, get up, step away from your screen, drink 16 ounces of cold water. No talking, no reading, no screens. Just water and silence. This physically shocks your system and resets your nervous energy. Option B, if you're really stuck, you get up and do 1 minute of deliberate boredom. You stand and stare out the window. You allow your mind to wander. You embrace the dullness. This activates your brain's default mode network, the place where real creativity and problem-solving happen. Crucially, you must commit to a 45-minute distraction-free block immediately after your reset. No music, no phone, no extra browser tabs. You just earned 45 minutes of hyperfocus by denying your brain the cheap dopamine hit. This is how the 1% win the afternoon. They don't seek inspiration, they enforce discipline. Now the next toxic habit is the one I see in every high achiever who's on the fast track to burnout. It's called the hyperproductivity lie. This is the mistake I see in every high achiever on the fast track to burnout. You think that to be successful, to be in that 1%, you have to be producing something, anything, at all times. You are confusing intensity with consistency. You wake up feeling great, you hit your trigger routine, and you feel like you can conquer the world for 12 straight hours. So you skip lunch, you drink 4 extra shots of espresso, you answer emails while you're in the bathroom. You tell yourself, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It sounds badass, right? It sounds like hustle culture. But I'm here to tell you, this mindset is the fastest way to get stuck in the 99% because it's not sustainable. True 1% focus is built on cycles of work and rest. When you try to sustain peak performance for 8 hours or more, you stop making quality decisions and you start making volume decisions. Your brain simply cannot maintain that level of output. You hit a productivity crash, and when you do, it's not a soft landing. It's a full-on emotional blowout that leaves you depleted for the next 2 days. It's a boom and bust cycle, and the 99% are stuck on that emotional roller coaster. The 1% focus protocol demands intentional inefficiency. We schedule mandatory breaks that feel wrong but are scientifically essential. We're implementing the deep work sandwich structure. For every 90 minutes of focused work, you must take 30 minutes of intentional rest. And I mean intentional. This rest can't be scrolling through social media, checking the news, or watching a YouTube video. That's just task switching. Your rest must be a low-stimulation activity. Read fiction, take a short walk without your phone, or simply lie down and close your eyes. The goal is to let your prefrontal cortex, your decision-making center, reboot. If you don't schedule the rest, your body will schedule the burnout for you. This structure turns you from a short-term sprinter into a long-term marathon winner. The fourth toxic habit is probably the most common one, and it hides right in plain sight. It's about how you manage your list, and it's called the everything is urgent lie. Toxic habit number 4, the everything is urgent lie. Your to-do list has 15 items on it. You treat them all the same. You feel a constant low-grade panic because everything seems important. You spend your morning jumping between small tasks, clearing your email inbox, sending a few quick Slack messages, putting out tiny fires. This gives you a huge burst of false productivity. You feel busy, you feel valuable, but at the end of the day, you realized you spent 6 hours on tasks that only moved the needle by about 1%. The reason you're doing this is because your brain loves the easy win. Dealing with emails and small messages gives you immediate feedback. You delete it, you send it, task complete. It's emotionally satisfying. The 10K task, the high-value project that actually changes your life, is hard. It requires deep, uninterrupted thinking, and the moment your brain senses that friction, it throws up a distraction flag and tells you, hey, go check that urgent email from Karen. This lie is an internal comfort blanket. You're using busyness to avoid the discomfort of real, heavy focus. This is why 99% of people are stuck doing the things that keep them busy instead of the things that create wealth. The 1% focus protocol uses brutal prioritization. We kill this lie using the must-do filter. Before you start your day, look at your list and ask yourself this single question. If I only complete one item on this list, which one item will make the biggest positive impact on my goals? Circle that one thing. That is your non-negotiable task. Everything else is secondary, tertiary, or totally irrelevant. Your rule is simple. The non-negotiable task gets done first. If you complete nothing else, your day was a win because you moved the biggest needle. Once that task is completed, your entire mindset shifts from anxious obligation to empowered confidence. You stop reacting to other people's emergencies, and you start executing on your own plan. That's how the 1% control their time and their success. And that brings us to the final, most damaging toxic focus habit. It's the habit that keeps you from ever being done. It's called the always-on mentality. Toxic habit number 5, the always-on mentality. You've finished your workday. You closed the laptop. You went to dinner. But are you really done? No. You're mentally reviewing the day. You're checking your phone for late emails. You're thinking about the project you'll start tomorrow. You've physically left the office, but you're still emotionally handcuffed to the grind. The 99% believe that more hours equals more success. They wear their lack of sleep and constant stress like a badge of honor. They're convinced that if they fully check out for the evening, they'll fall behind. This is self-sabotage, plain and simple. Your brain needs a complete, clean disengagement to process and solidify the day's learning. Without it, your cognitive performance suffers, your creativity tanks. Your ability to focus tomorrow is dramatically compromised. You're not being dedicated, you're being inefficient. The 1% focus protocol mandates a digital sunset, a fixed boundary between your work life and your real life. This is the difference between surviving and thriving. 2 hours before you plan to go to sleep, you implement a full digital shutdown. The work phone is off. The email tabs are closed. Your laptop is put away in a drawer. During this 2-hour window, you engage in activities that require zero professional cognitive effort. Spend time with your family, cook, read fiction, listen to music, anything that signals to your brain that the high-stakes day is officially over. This isn't just about relaxation. This is about memory consolidation and mental restoration. When you wake up, you'll have a full tank of willpower, a clean mental slate, and the focus required to tackle that non-negotiable task again. You stop letting the work bleed into your life, and you start controlling the boundaries. That's the true power of the 1% mindset. So, there you have it. The 5 toxic focus habits that keep the 99% stressed, busy, and far from their financial goals. We've covered swapping the mega-long routine for the trigger routine, replacing the motivation loop with the reset ritual, ditching hyper-productivity for the deep work sandwich, escaping the everything is urgent lie with the must-do filter, and finally, locking in true recovery with the digital sunset. Now listen, watching this video is the first step, but the 1% don't just watch, they implement. I'm giving you a direct challenge. Pick one of these 5 toxic habits you're guilty of, just one, and replace it with the corresponding 1% focus protocol, starting tomorrow. Don't try to change everything at once. Focus on the 1% improvement. If you're serious about moving the needle and hitting that 5,000 subscriber goal, you have to commit. Drop a comment below right now and tell me which of the 5 toxic habits you're eliminating. Is it the mega routine, the motivation loop, the hyper-productivity lie, the urgent lie, or the always-on mentality? When you've done that, the next step is to get the tools you need. I've compiled the exact books, productivity templates, and resources I use to maintain this 1% focus protocol into a single downloadable 1% focus toolkit. Click the first link in the description to grab that toolkit and start implementing these protocols today. And if this video helped you, crush the like button and subscribe to the 1%. Because next week, we're breaking down the 3 money mantras that wealthy people use to eliminate financial stress. You have the knowledge. Now, go get the focus. I'll see you in the next one.